Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Walk Around. Grab your popcorn, get some drinks, and enjoy the show. Alrighty, what's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of The Walk Around. And today we are with this beautiful 2010 Harley Davidson. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, yeah? First need to give you guys a little start up and take it through to the photo bay. So I don't know if you guys can hear me that well, but on these older bikes, you do have to pull the choke out just to get it nice and warm. So Gaza, the salesman, he is going to get back to us on the exact year, model and price. Just I don't confuse you guys. I don't want to give you one price and then you come in and it happens to be another price. So yeah, anyways. Oh, Yaku, what is that for? Okay. Bye-bye Yaku, ladies and gentlemen. Interesting thing about this bike actually, it's the first one that I've ever seen, but our mileage is actually in miles. How's that? Pretty cool. And yeah, as you guys can see, 10,055 miles. So I'm not sure on the exact conversion rate on kilometers. I'll pop it up on the screen for you guys. Alrighty, so 2010 model, 16,000 Ks. I will double check that because it is in miles. But yeah, this is a XL883 Sportster. Thank you very much, Geza. Boom, boom, boom. If you want to buy a bike, come buy one from Geza. There we go. So yeah, guys, and funny enough, when I was looking at my first bike, this was actually top of the line. This was the bike that I was going to buy. It wasn't even a doubt in my mind for a split second. You know, I was going to buy this bike. However, because I hadn't ridden, it was going to be my first road bike, and my mom was adamant on me having ABS. And at the time, we just couldn't afford the correct year model that came with ABS. So I just never ended up getting one. And as a result, I ended up getting a little Yamaha R3. But anyways, it goes without saying this is one of my favorite bikes in the shop, purely because of that. And I have absolutely nothing but good things to say about them. My knowledge is pretty limited when it comes to cruisers, guys. So don't attack me if I say something that might not be true. Just drop it down there in the comments, correct me. I'm more than happy to learn. So this bike in particular I have ridden. We took it out just for a little bit of test riding the other day, just to make sure everything was running perfectly and get that battery charged up. So I did ride it, and I just want to start off with this because it's all fresh in my memory. But one of the things that stood out to me the most was these bikes are very, there's a lot of vibrations going on when you're sitting at a traffic light or idling the bike or whatever the case is. But as soon as you start moving, all of that vibration just dissipates. And leading on to what I was going to say next, which is I've actually reviewed a 1200 Sportster over on my Big Red channel, and that was one of the other things, same thing on that bike. It stood out to me how comfortable and how smooth these bikes actually are. When you look at them and you see them idling at the traffic lights, you don't expect them to be nice and smooth or anything like that. So yeah, absolutely blew me away. But yeah, guys, obviously we do the off-road episodes and the road episodes, but I was kind of just getting myself confused. So we've got pretty much a blueprint as to what we do. So obviously we start the bikes, we bring them here, then I'll give you a little bit of information on it, and then what we're supposed to do is actually first go and have a look around at all the different modifications. Following that, we have a look at damage, and then yeah, that pretty much wraps things up. If I have a decent idea in terms of how it performs, then I'll start getting a little bit into the performance and what I experienced on the given bike. So yeah, without further ado, as I said, my knowledge on these is very limited, so I can't really say for 100% certainty whether or not some of these are actual modifications. So I'm just want to touch on a few things. Obviously we've got the front position foot pegs. Now I have seen it where the foot pegs are over there, sort of closer to the saddle, and that was the that was the style that I was looking for at the time. Then a big fat obvious one we've got some nice, juicy exhausts on this thing. Vance and Hans, ladies and gentlemen. Never heard of it in my life. I'm sure it's a pretty popular exhaust in the cruiser land. So guys, I'm not even going to try and talk about performance and anything like that. All I will say is that it sounds absolutely brilliant, and it is one of the few companies that I've got some sort of recollection from. So it's not some little Hong Kong Chinese brand, to my knowledge. And you'll see over here that this is actually belt driven. It is not chain driven. So a lot of your Harley Davidsons and cruisers are actually belt driven. And another pretty cool thing is that everything is actually on the right side of the bike. Whereas if you come and look at off-roads and stuff, you'll see everything is on the left side. You guys won't be able to see from, oh, you actually can. I mean, look at the sport bikes. All the exhausts on the right side, and the chain is on the left. Yeah, V-Rod is also belt driven, but then it's on the left. So yeah, pretty interesting. Obviously, you know, belt driven, chain driven, each has its pros, each has its cons. My knowledge is very limited in that, so yeah, I'm not really going to get into it. And then over here at the back, got a nice little backrest for your passenger. Obviously over there, that's where your passenger's going to put their little feet. And yeah, nice and comfy, I must say. If there was a bike that I was going to get on the back of, it would probably be a Harley with a nice little backrest, because I mean it's comfortable. Well, at least I can imagine it's comfortable. Guys, once again, I'm not 100% sure if this is stock standard or not, but we've got a nice little bit of Harley Davidson embroidery over there. Looking nice, looking very, very nice. Levers, as far as I'm concerned, they do look stock. Unfortunately, on this side, we are missing the little knob. However, we will get into the damage and stuff like that. I know you can get a lot of different headlights for these bikes as well. That's a very common modification, as well as handlebars. You know, people put all sorts of different types of bars on these. Bars that come right out here, bars that are thinner than this. I've seen a guy whose bike has handlebars like this. I've seen a guy with one handlebar. So, I mean, that's kind of actually the beauty about cruisers, and I would say that they are probably some of the most customized / customizable bikes out there. So yeah, there we have it, guys, in terms of your modifications. Not even really modifications, I was just highlighting a few things around the bike here and there. Something also pretty cool about the cruisers is that your key is always on the side. I haven't seen a cruiser that's come into the shop with the key being right there at the top by the dash. So yeah, very common. A lot of people put the key in there and try and start it. Doesn't work. I'm pretty sure that's just your handlebar lock. So yeah, anyways, let's jump into damage. As I did show you guys briefly, missing a little knobby bit over there. And then I saw something over here. What was it? Oh yes. Oh no, it's not damage. I thought that was a little paint chip. Sure, guys. I'm really not seeing anything here. I don't think it's been dropped, so I'm very curious as to how that happened, because if it was dropped, I feel like all of this over here would have gotten damaged, so I really don't think it's been dropped. So maybe just like bumped the wall or something. I once broke a lever doing that. I'm just going to keep this rolling because I'm genuinely trying to find damage here, guys. I'm really not seeing anything. This thing is in really, really good condition. Guys, I'm really not seeing anything. I'm very impressed. I mean, it's a 2010. I don't know if Gazza gave us a price, but I'm pretty sure it's about 74,900. Extremely low price for a bike in this condition with that sort of mileage on it. Other than that, I'm going to actually get someone else here to see if there's any more damage. So here we have Captain Jax. Captain Jax, I cannot for the life of me find any sort of damage on this bike other than a broken lever. And I just, I don't want to lie to the people. So I just wanted to get a second pair of eyes in here. I mean, that's the only damage that I can actually see. Jax, what do you reckon, bud? Don't say anything. I know, eh? And I went over this thing a few times, actually. All right, thank you. I just needed another set of eyes. Thank you, Captain Jax. Thank you, Captain Jax.
Sure.
So yeah, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Is your startup modification slash me highlighting a few things because I'm, you know, as I said. And yeah, that's your damage. So a little bit in terms of performance, obviously I did ride it. I rode this as well as the VT750. VT750 compared to this, night and day difference. I mean, the pull away on this was crazy compared to the Honda VT750. So yeah, this thing performed very, very nicely. As I said, nice and smooth. And it actually impressed me. We had someone come in here and say, listen, you know, these Harley Davidson 883s, you know, they don't have any power, wada, wada, wada. Couldn't be further from the truth. Honestly, I was, you know, after you said that, I was expecting this thing to ride like a 400-500. No, not the case. It's just raw torque. So maybe in terms of the top end, it's lacking a bit. Obviously, I didn't do a top speed run, but this thing has got more than enough torque. And you can ask anyone in this shop if there's a bike that I would buy right now, today, if I could, it would be this bike. And I've said it a million times over. If there was a bike that I could commute to work on, this would be the bike. So yeah, here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just gonna get this thing out of the photo bay. And yeah, something pretty interesting is that the one and only Mr. Veta actually did a review on it, so that will be coming out pretty soon. It's just, it was recorded on the 360, so yeah, it's gonna take me a lot of time to actually edit all of that footage and so on and so forth. Other than that, guys, thank you so much if you made it through to the end of the video. And if you have any questions, just pop them down in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And yeah, I'll catch you guys all in the next episode. Peace.